everybody, please close your phones.
L'chaim, l'chaim. If you walk down the street and you see someone frowning, someone upset, someone with a sad face, you walk further because it's normal. You see someone smiling outside and you stop. What's wrong with him? You come at work and you walk down the aisle and everybody's schlepping to work. And schlepping became an English word, although it's a Yiddish characteristic, but today it even became an English characteristic. Seems like it's very popular to schlep around. So you come to work, it's very normal to schlep and kvetch. You see someone smiling at work, what's wrong with you? What happened? Talents are nice, but we all know that the attitude we have to life is everything. Attitude we have to life defines us. So seeing someone that's able to smile in tough times, if there is any kind of sign and indication of an exceptional person, that is the sign. So when I got a call that there's an individual, Me'ira Chaya, that liked Perek Chav Vav of Tanya. I never met Me'ira Chaya. But as soon as I heard that she liked chapter 26 of Tanya, she's not from the regular kvetchers. She's not from the regular frowning faces you see as you go down the street. For me, as soon as I heard chapter 26, you see, chapter 26 is all about how do we smile when we hit tough times. So if I know and I hear that someone, what they loved of Tanya was the smiley face that Tanya puts on a person from chapter 26, that for me speaks volumes. So if there's anything to talk about tonight, let's take a chapter out of her life. I never met her, but that phone call tells me, and then the half an hour here sitting here confirms my suspicion from that phone call. She was an exceptional person from chapter 20. I'm sure chapter 26 had a lot to do with how she was able to smile in tough times. It's tough to smile in tough times. It doesn't come easy. How do we do it? What's really at the core of that smile? What does it take to put that smile on the face, not like a plastic surgeon puts a smile on the face, but to have that genuine smile and to actually pull you through those tough times? What does it really take? Life gets tough. They say the story, say a joke of a young man wakes up in the morning. You know, young men, when they wake up in the morning, they're first starting to work, they have their first day of work, and he looks outside and he sees it's snowing. And so he usually goes right back under his pillow, but he's got to go to work. Boss is waiting for him. So a bunch of young men are talking about what they do to get out of bed. And one young man had an ingenious solution, and he turns around to his friends. He says, you know what I did? I woke up in the morning, and I had this tug war. Get out of bed. Nah, geh schlafen. Go back to sleep. It's still nice out. You're going to go outside when it's so cold. Geh schlafen. Wake up. Geh schlafen. So his friends tell him, what did you do? He said, I came up with the best solution. I told these two voices, please, do me a favor. Don't tire me out. Go in the kitchen and fight it out. Leave me alone. So his friends told him, so how did it work out? He said, it worked out perfect. They fought it out, and I won. I got out of bed. Tell me a little bit more. Oh, it was a tough battle. They fought it out for 5 hours. And finally I got out of bed. I won. I was able to get out of bed. So what does it really take? What does it really take? Life is tough. There are times in life when the heaviness of the different circumstances we face pulls us down. We feel like we're tied up. We feel like we're in jail sometimes. How does a person pull themselves out of bed, pull themselves out of their circumstances that feel like they're being tied? How do we do that? What's really at the core of that phenomenon of pulling yourself out? being able to face it with a smile. What's behind it? Is it magic? It's not. So I'm going to share with you 3 thoughts tonight. The Alter Rebbe in Tanya, and I say Alter Rebbe, that's the founder of Tanya, is called Alter Rebbe. And he was the one that wrote Tanya. His yahrzeit, the day that he passed away, is today. So when I refer to Alter Rebbe, I'm referring to the founder of Tanya. It's anonymous. It means the same thing. So the Alter Rebbe shares with us 3 thoughts. And I want to share with you these 3 thoughts because I believe these were at the core of Meir Chaya's life. Just from listening to the half hour of the heartfelt words that I heard, which came from the heart and go to the heart, I see these 3 thought patterns were definitely at the core of her thought pattern to life. And remember, the Alter Rebbe is sharing this 200 years ago, way before Freud, way before Viktor Frankl, way before modern psychology. But the depth of his words and the practicality of how that plays out in life is as relevant today as from the day man was created. It's simply a way of looking at life. And the Alter Rebbe says as follows. Your heart is clogged. Thought number 1, your heart is clogged. You feel tied down. Well, get a plumber. What kind of plumber do we have? And he shares with us the thought of the power of the mind. Now let me share with you a story. The Alter Rebbe's Tanya that he wrote is based on previous books of the Maharal, of the Rambam, other Jewish philosophers. So there's a story with the Rambam. The Rambam, way back in the day, had a debate with some philosophers in the Arab court where he lived. And they were telling him how they can take a cat. Maybe you're familiar with the story. He trained the cat. They said, you can take a cat, we're going to train it. She's going to become top-notch waiter. She's going to go down the aisle, the red carpet. She's going to have that, platter of cakes. She's going to hop down the aisle. It's just going to be a tuxedo. It's going to be phenomenal. And the Rambam says you can't train animals. Animals are animals. Are animals are animals, period. You're not training them. You're not changing them. Humans can change. Unfortunately, some people look at humans like animals. And that's going to be the difference between the Rambam and many people, how they look at humans today. Humans could change. But let's look at the story with the Rambam. So the philosophers say, no, we can do it. Then they train the cat, and the cat stands on 2 feet. Then they put up a nice tuxedo, and the cat goes down the aisle, and it's just beautiful. The trumpets are playing. It's like they say in English, it's moiradik. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's a Kodak moment, although Kodak today is Benko, but it's a Kodak moment. So the Rambam takes out of his pocket a little mouse. And the mouse runs down the aisle to meet his friend the cat. Suddenly the cat remembers who he really is. And he goes on all 4. The cake splatters on the floor. And a cat is a cat is a cat is a cat. The Rambam brought out to them that animals can't change. Says the Alter Rebbe, humans could change. The power that the Eibishter God gave to humans, and pay attention to this because this thought is so awesome, so powerful. Humans could change. God gave us the power, willpower. When patients go to doctors don't only prescribe medicine. They ask the patient for their own prescription. Tell me, do you want to live? Your willpower that we have is even more than the medicine that we have. The willpower that we have supersedes nature and nurture. A parent to the child comes home and the child is not superstar. But the mother treats her daughter or her son like superstar. Guess what? They become superstar. It's not about the talent the child has, because if the mother unleashes that child's willpower, that child becomes superstar. There's a recent WhatsApp video that's been floating around with Thomas Edison. Comes home, beautiful little video. You probably got it. Came to my WhatsApp, it came to your WhatsApp. But who knows? Maybe not, so I'll share it with you. Right? So the child comes home, and he gives his mother a note from this teacher. And his mother, you've seen it. So it did come around. See? I thought so. But you never know. Maybe someone it didn't come around and it's worth sharing. And he shows his mother the note. And his mother reads the note. And the note says, "Dear mother, your child is way too smart. We can no longer teach him in the school." So the mother turns around to the child, Thomas Edison, later an inventor, light bulb moment. Comes home and he says, he says, "Thomas, you're going to have to stay home. We're going to teach you. You can't, you're too smart for school." And sure enough, he grew up to be Thomas Edison. Later on in life, Thomas Edison found that note. And the note said, "Dear mother, your child is too not smart." I won't say the words they used for a human being. Too stupid. Too silly. Not fit to be in school. We can no longer teach him. The mother, in her wisdom, told the child what he should hear. What every child should hear. It's not about talent. It's about willpower. When we want, we overcome. We can change. Humans have the ability to change if we want. And that will be thought two. What does it take to want? Well, let's first continue with thought one. So the Alter Rebbe shares us the power that we have. No matter what comes at you. Person hits a car crash, a person Nebach loses someone. We have to know. We have to know, number one, there's nothing in this world that can tie us down besides ourselves. Life gets tough, but the recognition that we have, that our willpower is above and is able to be injected and ejected from circumstances based on what you want, that is fact. That recognition itself is empowering, is liberating, allows you to be a free person and not a tied down, because that's the truth. Let me share with you a secret. In Kabbalah it's brought down that God created humans like the Almighty, and He gave us the almighty power called willpower. Willpower is actually a mirror of God's almighty power, and He gave that to us. That's free choice. That's the choice we have every morning when we wake up. That's the choice we have any time we face any kind of circumstance, whether it's nature or nurture, whether it's something that happened to us in life, or whether it's because I'm not Mr. Superhero. Who cares? We have something else that supersedes. We're all superpowers. We're all almighties. We have the ability to pull ourselves out of wherever we are and put ourselves in wherever we want to go. The Alter Rebbe says a story. There was once a chassid knocking on his door. It was late at night. It was cold outside. And he's knocking on the Alter. Alter Rebbe again is the founder of Tanya. The same one who's teaching these thoughts. And he's knocking on the door and the Alter Rebbe is not answering the door. And it's freezing cold outside. Finally the Alter Rebbe answers the door. He comes inside. He says, "Rebbe, come on, Rachmanis, it's freezing cold outside." Says that I wanted to teach you something. No matter who is knocking on your door, remember, you have a choice to open or close that door. Always remember that. I wanted to teach you a lesson. It could be freezing cold outside. It could be who cares who's knocking? You have a choice. In today's billion-dollar marketing world, they spend billions of dollars for me to click. They can't force me to click. I have a choice to click. We are worth more than billions of dollars. There's nothing in the world that can force you to do anything. We have a choice to open up the doors to the influences. We have a choice to allow circumstances to define us. You know, sometimes you walk down the street and you see people leading a dog. They're taking the. But sometimes you find something very interesting. You see the pet running ahead and the owner running behind. You ever seen that before? You're like, "Okay, wait up. You ever see that before? The owner is run. And I sometimes wonder who's the pet and who's the owner. I don't know. It gets very tricky. And the real question in life is that we have to ask ourselves, who is holding the leash? Who is in charge? And we have to always know thought number one. We are in charge. Life gets tough, but we have to remember this thought. And we have to remind ourselves this thought, because that's the truth. We hold the leash. The Eibishter God gave us that leash, and that's thought, which obviously leads to thought number two. But how do I get myself to want? How do I get? What's that energy that I can put? What's that frame of mind that allows me to unleash my desire and my being in charge? That's thought two that I want to share with you. There was once someone that came into Yechidus. Yechidus was a time when Chassidim would share with the Alter Rebbe their personal challenges. It was a one-on-one audience, one-on-one time, coaching time. And so he came into Yechidus and he was going through a very hard time. He was a wealthy man and he lost a lot of money. Not only did he lose money, but it was money that he borrowed from others. And he walks into Yechidus and he says to Alter Rebbe, what am I going to do? And he's crying in pain. And he says to the Alter Rebbe, what am I going to do? I can't. And he feels like, Rebbe, it's done. I can't anymore. And the Rebbe tells him one line. And I want to talk about this line. And he tells him, let's say his name is Yankel. He says, Yankel, you're telling me what you need. Did you for a moment think for what you are needed for? I want to share with you something. If we for a second take a thought, take a second to think. If we're here, we're not here by accident. This is a very powerful thought pattern. If me and you are here today, we're not here by accident. What do you think, that God is bored, so he put us down over here? He's playing a poker game with us? Every single person is needed. I don't care your last name. I don't care your talents. I don't care your first name. I don't care where you live. I don't care your numbers in the bank account. You are needed for something that no one else can do. How do I know? If not, you wouldn't be here. Why did he put us here? If we would for a second think about how imagine you have a crown jewel. Imagine you have a prize student. We're all pieces of a puzzle. This is no accident. This is a master artist. And each one of us has a so unique that there is no two fingerprints are alike. There's no one in the world that could accomplish what you can accomplish. I'm not here. The worst feeling a person can have is people go on a trip. 15-hour trip. Okay, it's a long trip. It takes time. So this 15, the worst thing, I'm lost. I'm not needed anymore. I don't feel like I matter. I don't feel like I belong. That's the worst. It's the worst. Having a tough trip, and I know I'm going, and I know I have a destination. I know I have a direction. Okay, it's a tough trip. The worst is where are we going? I'm lost. I don't know where I'm going. I don't think I should even be here. I don't think I have a trip. I don't think there's any trip for me. The first thought the Alter Rebbe shares with us, and we have to know this. We have to think about this. If I'm around, there's a designer for me. You say the word designer. Oh, so you're a believer. I'm not a believer. Let me share with you something. In Chelm, anybody ever heard of the city Chelm? You ever heard of the city Chelm? Fascinating city, right? Fascinating city. A lot of Chelm is like in America. I don't know in Russia which country they used to to throw their Chelm stories on. But back in the day, Chelm for some reason became a story. I don't know why. But in America they say Polish, and in Chelm they said
Polish,
Chelm.
yeah.
I don't know. But the bottom line is the story of Chelm. So in Chelm, when the train came out, they had a very big problem. How does the train go? Where's the ferret? Where's the horse? Right? But they realized there's a car. They realized there's an engine. They couldn't figure it out. So they had 99 chachamim, 99 smart people, the geniuses of Chelm, the elders of the city that got together, and they made a big conference, and they decided they're going to go and figure out how does the train work. They had the top professors of the universities of Chelm sit there and study and come up with a solution. What are we going to do? I mean, how does it work? This doesn't make sense. It defies logic. It doesn't make sense. They came back and they had a massive rally, massive meeting. The whole community was there. Everybody was sitting to listen to what the Chacham of Chelm came up with. And this is what they came up with. The 99th Chacham, elder, smart man, came to the stage and says, Chevre, I have a solution. The 99th cart is being pulled by the 98th cart. In case you were wondering, there's 99 carts. I'm coming with a solution. 99 is pulled by the 98th. Everyone is amazed. What a genius. 99 is pulled by the 98th. The next Chacham comes along and says the 98 is pulled by the 97. And each one in turn explains how the amazing discoveries that they came up with. And 99 Chachamim for 99 cars, and they sit down. So little Yidel in the back of the stage turns around and says, I apologize for taking such chutzpah and asking a question in front of such great Chachamim. I understand you guys did a lot of research and you're working years and you're really working on this query of how the train works. But I'd like to ask you a question. Where is the first train? How does that move? They stormed the stage and I told him, you Yidele, Jid, right? As I say in Russian, Jid, right? Yes. Jid, what do you know? We explained to you 99 trains, and you're bothered by one train. What a little Yidele you are. What a little... If you think about it, evolution is no different. We're still working on the first. You got nowhere. If you just think I'm 99, you still don't figure out the first, you got nowhere. I don't believe there's a creator. I know there's a creator. It's just so simple. There's got to be a first car. I'm not here by mistake. I'm here by design. There's a creator who put me in the world. He designed me. Steve Jobs designed the iPod and he put a lot of effort into making it nice and attractive. It should market. God created me and you, and He designed each and every one of us to be the beautiful iPad we are. If we would only pay attention to the fact that if I was designed by a super artist, I've got to be something super. I've got to have a super story to tell. I have no time to be tied down. I'm a Superman. And you are. The Eibishter created every Bishvili Nivra Ha'olam. Tanya explains to us that every single person has a tafkid, has a purpose. That's the second thought that we have to remember. When we're tied down, and when we have those moments that we feel like can't, let's just remember who we are. If we remember that we have a purpose and a design, that helps us for tough moments. When those tough moments come, pay attention. If those tough moments come, let us just remember one thought. God doesn't want to wreck His own puzzle. Why would He take my unique piece of puzzle, put it down into this world? Whatever comes my way, I've got to find, instead of asking why, I've got to find a way to continue. I'm that unique piece of puzzle. He's not going to wreck His own piece of puzzle. The recognition that I am unique pushes me through heavy moments, and instead of me being swallowed up by I'm lost, I focus on the direction that I'm heading. There are tough moments in a journey, but let's not forget we're on a journey. The worst feeling is feeling lost, that we have no journey. But we cannot forget that each and every one of us was invested and endowed with a journey. And a journey that no one else can take instead of you. Imagine what that means. David had nothing better to do than to put you into this world because you can do something he can't, and you can do something that no one else can do. I don't care your talents. As a matter of fact, if you dig deep, you have to have something exceptional. Why would he put you here? Each and every one of us is an exceptional piece of a puzzle, a grand puzzle. And that's thought two. Thought one is the ability that we have to inject or eject ourselves out of circumstances. And thought two is the recognition that we matter. Each and every one of us is someone exceptional. That's thought two. And that's in Tanya chapter 26. That leads us to thought three. Before I go to thought three, let me just share one more story. It's a story with a donkey. Donkey was once going down the road. There was a little pit, and it's walking, and Nebuch, it falls into the pit. Falls into the pit. Anybody know Yiddish? You can't from the pit. You can't get out of the pit. You can't crawl out. Nebuch, what can you do? The donkey realizes it's coming to its last breath. But yeah, that's not it. Suddenly the villagers on the side of the pit, they decide to help the donkey go to Olam HaEmes, and they start burying it with sand. The donkey looks at the Rebbeinu Shalom, looks at God, and says, what am I going to do? Suddenly the donkey realizes there's a little amount of dust, a little amount of earth that's piling on the side of the pit. And the donkey climbs in it and goes out of the pit. Thought two should help us recognize challenges that are thrown at us are not there to bury us. They're there to uplift us. We have to remember we matter. God doesn't want to bury us in the middle of the journey. I don't know why, and I cry. And it's tough. And I cry again. But I'm not going to allow myself to be buried. Part of my journey, someday, somehow, this will be an uplifting moment. And we have to remember that, and that goes together with thought too. Challenges that are thrown at us, don't let them ever bury you, because that was not their intention. Somehow we uplift ourselves. Sometimes we look back at certain tough moments and we gain strength from them. Sometimes we never understand them. Regardless, we have the ability to pull ourselves out. We matter. We're on a journey, and that's thought two. Now thought three. So what's that journey? What's that purpose? And this is the $1,000,000 question that everybody asks and people seek. What's my purpose? What's the purpose? Purpose becomes, by the way, you ever pay attention that the number one selling books, all alarms all I'm saying. The number one selling books are all about purpose. Man's search for meaning, all the books. People seek purpose. But you ever think for a second, phenomenal thought. Imagine your friend calls you and tells you, I missed my flight. I'm in New York. I'd like to meet up for coffee. Tell me the purpose of your visit. There's for sure a purpose. I missed my flight. No, you have a purpose. I know what you're creeping into my dana. You're trying to get into my life. Tell me the reason why you're calling me. I'm telling you, I missed my flight. The mere fact that people search for purpose is an indication they agree and understand there's a designer. There is no purpose in a jungle. There's no purpose in an accident. Humans search for purpose because we all know there's a creator. It's silly to even think about it. It's silly to even have the notion that there's no creator. So why are you searching for purpose? What are you making a purpose out of a mess? What are you making a purpose out of an accident? There's an accident on the highway. What's the purpose of the accident? It's an accident. It's a jungle. No, I know there's a purpose. So don't say accident. Say creator. Let's be open. Let's be honest. It's a creator. We don't have to believe it. We know it. So what is purpose? Now that we know there's a creator, and the creator put me in the world, and he feels that I'm important, And I recognize that importance. So what's my purpose? So obviously purpose starts with our individual journey. Every single person, if they look into the gifts that God gave them, and not only kvetch about the gifts He didn't yet give them, we'll see that we have gifts. Every single person has a gift. Now, Yoim Maimitz brought down, if we would only focus and know our milas, like we know our chisroinus, our advantages, our areas where we excel, with the same, sometimes we overlook them and we can be extreme on each side. Every single person has a gift. Grass is green on the other side. We all have a gift. And that gift is because God wants us to have that gift and somehow bring it to the world. But that's not where purpose lies. We have a family that we're born into. God put each person in different circumstances of life. But then there's a deeper feeling and itch that we have. I have a family. And I know my gift. But I'm still itching for purpose. And I'm itching for somehow it should be a collective purpose that allows my gifts, my personal gifts, my family, everything that I have to somehow come into one picture. I want to share with you a story, Rebbe. That's going to share a little bit of what this purpose is. And search for purpose. Elliot Lasker, it's a beautiful video that you should really watch. It's a 7-minute little video. I'll give you the title so you can search it for yourself and see it for yourself. I'm going to try to give it over in the details that I remember. So he says over a story. He's a real estate agent today. It's a first-hand story. In the 60s, when there was a big hippie movement, so he was a young teenager. And he hooked up with the Rolling Stones band. Back in the day. And he came from an Orthodox home, from a home, but slowly but surely, nothing really stayed while he's going on tours with the Rolling Stones. And he describes how at a certain point, when he was 24 in 1973, he was sitting in front of this Buddhist, Zen Buddhist, and this Buddhist is explaining to him whatever he's explaining to him, and a thought pops into his head, and he says, why are Jews different than non-Jews? And he asks himself, what makes me so different? And he calls up his Chabad Rabbi Garari from Buffalo. He was in university over there. And Rabbi Garari sends him to the Rebbe. So he describes how he looked when he decided to visit. He did not get an audience with the Rebbe, but he decided to use Jewish chutzpah. And the Rebbe came out of the car to 770 from Mincha, in front of 770. As the Rebbe is going up the steps, he was told, you want to get him? Stop him there! So he did it. He says he came with snakeskin boots. He came with a leather jacket. He describes how he looked. He had hair down to his shoulders. And he walks up to the Rebbe and he says, Entschuldig, seid ihr der Lubavitcher Rebbe? Excuse me, are you the Lubavitcher Rebbe? The Rebbe looks at him, and the Rebbe didn't answer. The Rebbe just says, Was ist dein Name und von wann kommst du? What's your name and where do you come from? So he told the Rebbe his name and where he comes from. Then he tells the Rebbe, Ich habe eine Frage. I have a question. So the Rebbe says, Frag. He tells the Rebbe, Avu is God. Where's God? So the Rebbe answers him, Umidum, all over. So he tells the Rebbe, and he describes the moment. He says, I'm standing there, it was a freezing cold January morning, afternoon. He says, I suddenly felt myself so intense, some burning question inside of me, my kishkis that I want to, spit out. But I'm looking at the Rebbe's eyes, and he's looking at my eyes, and our eyes are locked. And I said to the Rebbe, Ich weiß, aber Avu, I know that, but where is he? So the Rebbe answers him again. Umitum all over, in a vein, in a stain, in a tree, in the grass, in a stone. So he turns around to the Rebbe and he says again, Ich weiß, of Ravu Izer. Obviously, you're dealing with an individual. My own understanding of the video, and if you see that video, you see it in the way he describes the story. It's not an individual with the philosophical. It's an individual that has, beyond the question, there's an itching in the heart of purpose. What am I doing here? What's the purpose? So the Rebbe tells him, Ebazei fragst du in dein Herz. That's the way you're asking? In your heart. At this point, he turns around to the Rebbe. I'm going to explain the story soon. Turns around to the Rebbe and he tells the Rebbe, "Can I speak in English? This is beyond." He was speaking in Yiddish till now. He was trying to break his tongue. Guys, so the Rebbe says, "Yeah, speak in English." So he tells the Rebbe, "We say in Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad." That's what we say. God is one. He turns around and says, "Rebbe, what's the difference between a Jew, an Indian, and a black man?" That's the way he describes it, and that's how it came out. We all have one God. What differentiates us? And the Rebbe turns around to him, and the Rebbe tells him, the essence of an Indian is to be an Indian. I'll explain this soon. The essence of a black man is to be a black man. And the essence of a Jew is to be connected to Hashem, to Torah mitzvahs. What did the Rebbe tell him? He continues the story, and he says that it was a transformational moment for him. It was the Rolling Stones, he was nothing. He said he didn't change. The Rebbe left him with two takeaways: to put on tefillin and to learn Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, to learn a little bit of what it means to be a Jew. He says he didn't change the next day, but a few weeks later started putting in tefillin. They never stopped, and things started changing from that. Now, the story, you have to see this. You have to see the exchange, a powerful exchange. You have an individual who's seeking something, and he's hearing something. But what does this mean that we're connected to Torah mitzvahs? What does it mean, the purpose of a Jew? I want to share with you two stories. Moshe Dayan. Everybody heard Moshe Dayan? You were around during the 6-Day War. Moshe Dayan grew up in a home that was in a moshav, a moshav that was not necessarily keeping kibbutz. And I, from what I hear, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard this, on the sign, there was a nice sign on the door of his home during Pesach. Kan ochlin chametz. Here we eat chametz. That was the home where he grew up. So Moshe Dayan was a Jew who grew up in a home that didn't necessarily have any value towards Pesach. When he became defense minister, and he was part of the cabinet when they were making decisions, specifically in regards to the exemption of the Bachurei Yeshivot, so there was a expectation that he should vote that the Bachurei, those who learn in yeshiva should go into the army. You shouldn't continue the exemption. For some reason, he voted to continue the exemption. His friends turned around and said, "Moshe, what happened to you?" And he told them something very powerful. What did he tell them? Certain moments of life, people say things not because of the thought patterns they have in their behavior pattern, but because of something deeper in them. Certain thought patterns and certain moments evaporate, and there's a deeper meaning that surfaces, that we connect to, because that is simply our subconscious reality. Moshe Dayan had that moment when he had to decide the future of a Jewish state and how the army should run and who the soldiers are. He said, I suddenly had a moment. I had my moment. And I started thinking, what makes Israeli army great? We're surrounded by enemies. What makes us exceptional? We got the jets from the U.S. They also have it. What makes us exceptional? And I came to the conclusion that there's something in the Jewish nation that's called Torah, and I'm not going to be the one to go down in history to take it away from us. Their identity, there was a Jew who came to a Chabad house in India. He walks into the Chabad house, and he turns around to the rabbi and he tells the rabbi, "Rabbi," he was a kibbutznik. After the army, they travel. He comes in, and India is one of the, highlights where they travel a lot. He comes as a rabbi, this whole Yiddishkeit thing is just not my cup of tea, not my cup of coffee. It's just not my kind of thing. So the rabbi came up with a thought. He tells him, okay, Yossi. In Israel, a lot of times Yossi, right? Yossi, do me a favor. Go into the side room, take the Torah, rip it up. What? You don't believe in anything. Rip it up and dance on it. Make a bonfire. Rab, Kvod Rab, ani lo yaseh lecha et zeh. I'm not going to do it for you. Kavod shelcha. It's your kavod. I'm not going to do it for you. He says, no, Yanki Yossi, for me, don't worry about me. I have no problem doing it today. Christian Bible. I can dance on it. Why did you want to do it? Ani lo yachol. There are certain moments. Purpose is not something, today in America, a rabbi comes to shul. New rabbi in the shul walks into the shul and he sees everybody sits during davening. So he asks the president, say, the minhag over here is everybody sits. Okay, no problem. Next week he comes in shul, everybody's standing. Says, Mr. President, says, the minhag is that we stand. Now, maybe there was a confusion, he didn't understand. A few weeks later, everybody's sitting. Mr. President, the minhag over here is everybody, Mr. President, I'm confused. I came here a few weeks ago, you told me the minhag is a sit, then you told me the minhag is a stand, now you told me the minhag is a sit. Rabbi, why don't you understand? Every week make a vote. And whatever the vote is becomes the minhag. So the first week the minhag was a sit, and next week got it. In America, there's no purpose, there's votes. And the votes start in Hollywood. And we have values, and we have America, and that's America, America, beautiful America. That's what America is. Purpose is not up to vote. Purpose is not something that I like. Purpose is something that's invested in me that I can't help. The Eibishter gave each Yid a purpose, and that is Torah. I can't help it, Rabbi. I cannot stand on the Torah. I have my Moshe Dayan moment. I have my moment that Eli Lasky had, standing over there when he realized there is something deeper in his psyche that's not letting him rest. He's simply not going to be his own self if he won't come in touch with himself. Torah is not a behavior, it's not a practice, it's our purpose. When we realize the thought, number one, we have the ability to pull ourselves out of situations. Thought number two, we all have a journey. And that journey is our purpose. And when we come in touch with our purpose, and when we actually actualize our purpose, a person then feels at home with themselves. You know the worst thing a person can feel? That they don't belong. The worst feeling a person can have is they don't belong. And unfortunately, more often than not, we're the people who don't allow ourselves to belong. I'll finish with one more story. Am I going over time? Promise the time, and then afterwards I go over time. I'm still good? Yeah? Okay. Just one more story. There's a story. I actually was once giving this class. And there was a fellow who was a principal in a urban school. In an urban school in Maryland. And he did very well. He was a chassid. And it was something very unique. It was exceptional to have a chassid who was a principal in an urban school. And he was interviewed by NPR. NPR, news station. They're not so fond. And so they had this interview where they said, this can't be. Someone so exceptional, the principal of such a school, taking care of. So he sits there with them for a while. And during the interview, he explains on his passion that he has to make a difference in the child. And what it means to him that he's taking children. And he goes to sleep at night and he says, wow, I made a difference to the child. And during that discussion, he expressed himself. He said, if these kids wouldn't be in school, they'd be losing the streets. So I really feel like I made a difference. An NPR news reporter puts the headline, and the next day, you know what he writes? A white man says the black kids are going to loot the city. Real story. That was the headline in the paper the next day. He tells me he was called into the dean's office, reprimanded. He says, what did I say? What we want to hear in life is what we will hear in life. And that should be the takeaway of tonight. What we want to hear in life is what we will hear. We could be standing in front of a crown jewel. And that crown jewel, look in the mirror, is you. Is each and every one of you. And we all were given a special purpose. And the biggest challenge we have to that purpose is none other than ourselves. Unleash your willpower. Jump on the journey. Embrace the Torah and mitzvahs that were given to us. That's not a practice. It's not a behavior pattern. It's our purpose. It's our identity. It's our belonging. It's who we are now, what we do. If there's anything we can do from the Ira Chaya, and I said I didn't know her. I don't. But just from the half hour that I had in the beginning, and from the phone call, I know these three things were probably pillars in her life. She probably really expressed and was exemplified in life willpower. She exemplified in life what it means that she's on a journey and nothing will take her away from her focus of that journey. And from what I hear, she also had the third pillar, which is embracing Torah mitzvahs as her journey. If there's anything we can do tonight, let's join her journey. It's current, it's not past. Good things last forever. And yes, you should continue saying it in a present way and not in a past way, because she is present. And when we take that one mitzvah, and every Shabbos, every Friday afternoon before Shabbos, we light that candle, she's present with each and every one of us. And when you put on the tefillin, and you do it for me, Ira Chaya, she's with you and she's present. And you're now allowing her journey to continue in you. You adapt her lifestyle. You take those three pillars of the willpower, the journey, and embracing yourself on that journey through Torah mitzvahs. There's no better way you can have her in your life, and there's no better way for her neshama than if we do that. So I know there's papers that were given out, and that's an amazing, amazing way to allow, not only for her, but that keeps her present. You know, when you have something in the home, this pushka, make a little note next to it. It's Lila Nishmas Ira Chaya. And when you put stuff, you know it's for her. You're surrounded with mitzvahs. You're surrounded with her presence. She is present, will be present, and it's up to us to allow that to happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ray Wolf. Really, really very inspiring. I was going to give out these pens. You can fill out the form that we gave you. Please do so. Take the mitzvahs that you feel you can do.